Close your eyes. March 23, 2022. A gaming company called Sky Mavis notices something wrong with the Ronin network, the blockchain that powers their game, Axie Infinity. Validators have been compromised. Transactions that should not have been authorized have gone through. Someone has quietly drained 173,600 Ethereum and 25.5 million USDC from the bridge contract. Total value at the time, $625 million. The largest cryptocurrency hack in history. The company doesn't even notice for 6 days. A user reports they can't withdraw funds. Someone looks at the logs. The money is already gone. Investigators eventually trace the attack back to a group of hackers operating out of North Korea called the Lazarus Group. They are not ordinary criminals. They are employees of the North Korean state, working inside a unit called Bureau 121, which operates under the country's intelligence service. Their job, assigned by the Kim Jong-un government, is to steal cryptocurrency to fund North Korea's weapons programs. The UN estimates that the Lazarus Group has stolen over $3 billion in cryptocurrency since 2017. Some of that money has gone directly toward North Korea's ballistic missile tests. The most isolated, sanctioned nation on Earth found a way to print money by hacking blockchains that were supposed to be unhackable. This is the story of the Lazarus Group, how North Korea built a cyber army, how they learned to steal from crypto, and what it means when a government becomes a hacker. The implications of their actions reverberate across the world. As nations scramble to bolster cybersecurity measures, the question remains, what does the future hold for a world where digital warfare is the new normal? How can the global community protect itself from a state that hacks? This is the story of how a nation, isolated and embattled, harnessed the power of the digital age to wage its own economic war. It is a narrative of ambition and desperation, of innovation and danger. As we delve into the chapters that follow, we uncover the origins, the operations, and the ominous implications of North Korea's billion-dollar crypto war. Chapter 1 awaits. The story begins with the origins of the Lazarus Group, a tale of mystery shrouded in the shadows of secrecy and intrigue. Chapter 1 awaits. The story begins with the origins of the Lazarus Group, a tale of mystery shrouded in the shadows of secrecy and intrigue. In the enigmatic world of North Korea, a country isolated from much of the global community, a new form of warfare was taking shape. Cyber warfare, silent and unseen, became the weapon of choice for a nation striving to assert its influence on the world stage. The roots of this formidable entity, known today as the Lazarus Group, trace back to Bureau 121. Established as part of North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau, this cyber unit was tasked with leveraging the capabilities of the digital domain. In a country where technology and information are tightly controlled commodities, Bureau 121 stood at the forefront of a new frontier. The creation of Bureau 121 can be seen as a response to the growing importance of cyber capabilities worldwide. By the early 2000s, nations were beginning to understand the potential of cyberspace as a domain for both offense and defense. North Korea, under the leadership of Kim Jong-il, an astute observer of global trends, recognized this shift. He authorized significant investments in developing a cyber force that could operate beyond the limited resources of the nation. A key figure in this initiative was Kim Jong-un, who in later years would continue to expand these efforts. His time spent studying in Switzerland exposed him to Western technologies, further shaping his understanding of their potential. Under his direction, North Korea's cyber army grew from a nascent program into a formidable force by the late 2000s. Bureau 121 comprised highly skilled hackers, often selected from the country's top computer science graduates. These individuals were trained not only in programming but also in the art of cyber espionage. This elite team worked in locations around the globe, often in countries with less restrictive access to the internet, thereby serving as North Korea's digital warriors. The Lazarus Group, as it would later be known, first emerged on the global stage with an audacious attack that took place in November 2014. The target was Sony Pictures Entertainment. This operation, later dubbed the Sony Hack, demonstrated the group's capabilities in both technical prowess and psychological impact. Motivated by the impending release of a film, The Interview, which portrayed the North Korean leadership unfavorably, the hackers infiltrated Sony's networks. They stole massive amounts of data, emails, unreleased films, and sensitive employee information. The attack culminated in a threat to release the data unless the film was pulled from distribution. The fallout was immediate and extensive, causing tens of millions of dollars in damage and creating a significant diplomatic incident between the United States and North Korea. The Sony hack was a pivotal moment. It showcased not only the capabilities of the Lazarus Group, but also the strategic importance North Korea placed on its cyber warfare division. The attack was not merely an act of vandalism, but a calculated move to exert influence on an international scale. It marked the beginning of North Korea's efforts to use cyber operations as a tool of geopolitical power. Post the Sony hack, the Lazarus Group continued to evolve. Their methods became increasingly sophisticated, reflecting a deeper understanding of global cyber infrastructures. The group's activities expanded beyond state-driven objectives, turning toward financial gain as a means to support the nation's isolated economy. The global financial system, already reeling from heightened cyber threats, now faced a new adversary. The Lazarus Group began targeting financial institutions with alarming success. Their shift toward economic targets can be traced back to the severe economic sanctions imposed on North Korea. Sanctions had long strangled the nation's economy, cutting off vital access to international markets and funds. In response, North Korea sought alternative means to generate revenue. Cyber theft presented a lucrative opportunity. One of the early indicators of this shift was the group's involvement in a series of bank heists, utilizing cyber means to siphon money from financial institutions across the globe. These attacks were characterized by their meticulous planning and execution, often exploiting vulnerabilities in international banking systems. The Lazarus Group's exploits became increasingly bold, culminating in what would be one of their most notorious heists, the Bangladesh bank robbery of 2016. Yet, before delving into the details of that operation, it is crucial to understand the foundation laid by the group's initial disruptive activities. The Lazarus Group's roots in Bureau 121 provided them with a unique understanding of how to exploit weaknesses within the cyber realm. Their early operations served as a testing ground for techniques that would later be adapted for financial gain. North Korea's population, approximately 26 million strong, remains largely cut off from the technological advances that most of the world takes for granted. Internet access is rare and heavily monitored. Yet this isolation has also created an environment where the state can cultivate and control its cyber warriors with relative ease. These factors contribute to the group's ability to conduct operations with a level of secrecy that is difficult for other nations to match. The Lazarus Group's transition from disruptive hacks to financial gain marks a significant evolution in their strategy. Cyber theft became not just a means of funding the state, but a tool for circumventing the global sanctions regime. This transformation highlights the adaptability and resourcefulness of North Korea's cyber operations, traits that have made them one of the most formidable adversaries in the cyber domain. As we conclude this chapter, the stage is set for an exploration of how the Lazarus Group's focus shifted from chaos to capital. The next chapter will delve into this transformation, examining the initial forays into banking systems, and the pivotal moment when cryptocurrency became the new frontier for North Korea's cyber ambitions. Stay with us as we continue this journey into the shadowy world of cyber warfare and financial intrigue. Stay with us as we continue this journey into the shadowy world of cyber warfare and financial intrigue. In the early years of North Korean cyber operations, the focus was primarily on disruption and espionage. The infamous 2014 Sony Pictures hack was a clear indicator of their capabilities. However, as the decade progressed, a significant transformation began to unfold. The pivot from simple disruption to the pursuit of financial gain was as strategic as it was necessary. North Korea faced crippling economic sanctions, which cut off essential revenue streams. The international community sought to contain Pyongyang's ambitions, particularly its nuclear program. But necessity is the mother of invention. Enter the Lazarus Group, a formidable cyber unit that evolved from simple hacking to sophisticated cyber theft, targeting the global financial system itself. Before the shift to cryptocurrency, the Lazarus Group set its sights on traditional banking systems. The February 2016 Bangladesh bank heist was one of their earliest forays into large-scale financial theft. It was a bold and calculated operation that revealed both opportunity and the limits of traditional methods. In this audacious robbery, hackers exploited the SWIFT banking network, a trusted system used globally for secure financial transactions. The plan was to steal nearly $1 billion. Yet, due to a typographical error and alert bank employees, the hackers walked away with only $81 million. This heist underscored the vulnerabilities in the global financial system and marked a turning point for the Lazarus Group. The Bangladesh heist taught these cybercriminals crucial lessons. They learned the importance of avoiding typographical mistakes, the need for effective money laundering techniques, and the potential of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency offered an enticing alternative. It was decentralized, with no central authority to reverse transactions or freeze accounts. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether became attractive targets. They presented a new frontier, one where transactions are irreversible and largely pseudonymous. In 2017, the pivot to crypto became evident as the Lazarus Group began to explore these digital currencies aggressively. The potential financial freedom they offered was immense. The Lazarus Group's operations gradually shifted. They turned their attention to cryptocurrency exchanges and individual wallets. By exploiting security flaws and using phishing attacks, they could infiltrate digital vaults. The decentralized nature of cryptocurrency made tracking stolen funds considerably more challenging for international authorities. During this period, the Lazarus Group is believed to have stolen between $3 to $4 billion in cryptocurrency. These funds became a lifeline for North Korea, fueling its state operations, including its contentious weapons programs. The economic lifeline that cryptocurrency represented could not be underestimated. To launder the stolen assets, the Lazarus Group employed elaborate techniques. They often utilized casinos, taking advantage of laxer anti-money laundering policies. In these environments, digital funds could be converted into cash or other assets with relative ease. The global nature of the internet and the borderless characteristics of cryptocurrency posed new challenges to traditional policing and international cooperation. Meanwhile, the human stories behind these operations are compelling and often overlooked. Consider the life of a young hacker recruited into the Lazarus Group. Raised in Pyongyang, he has known only the propaganda of the regime. Well versed in computer science, he sees his work as a patriotic duty, a service to his country. The promise of a better life for his family and the prestige within the secretive world of cyber warfare are potent motivators. Yet, these hackers operate under constant surveillance. Their actions are monitored, their successes rewarded, and their failures punished. The pressure is immense. but so too is the loyalty instilled by years of indoctrination. They are the foot soldiers in a modern form of warfare, where borders are digital and battles fought in cyberspace. The Lazarus Group's activities have wider implications, not just financially, but geopolitically. Every successful heist emboldens the regime, allowing North Korea to circumvent sanctions designed to inhibit its progress. The stolen funds finance intercontinental ballistic missile tests and nuclear development, threatening global stability. In Washington, policymakers grapple with the challenge: how to counter a threat that is both invisible and pervasive. International sanctions, while crucial, are slow to adapt to the fast-evolving digital world. The urgency to develop new strategies is palpable. Cybersecurity experts and financial investigators work around the clock, attempting to predict and thwart the next move. In South Korea, the threat is felt acutely. The proximity and history with North Korea make the cyber threat deeply personal. Financial institutions and government agencies bolster their defenses, ever vigilant against the shadow of the Lazarus Group. Global awareness continues to grow as cybersecurity takes center stage in the boardrooms of major financial institutions worldwide. The pivot to cryptocurrency has forced a re-evaluation of global financial security measures. As investigators piece together the complex web of cyber theft, the full scale of North Korea's operations becomes apparent. The stakes are high, impacting economies and lives on a global scale. As we move forward, the need for international collaboration has never been greater. Cybersecurity can no longer be an afterthought. It requires a concerted effort with both private and public sectors working in tandem. The road to combating these cyber threats is long, marked by challenges that demand innovation and resilience. In the face of these challenges, one thing is certain: the story of North Korea's cyber operations is far from over. The Lazarus Group's activities are a testament to the evolving nature of modern warfare. As we delve deeper, we uncover not just the mechanisms of theft, but the broader implications for the world financial order. Join us in the next chapter as we explore the Bangladesh bank heist. We'll delve into the intricate details of the robbery that set the stage for North Korea's boldest financial escapades. It was February 2016 when the Bangladesh bank heist unfolded, an event that would reverberate through the corridors of international finance. Located in the bustling financial district of Dhaka, Bangladesh Bank served as a vital cog in the nation's economy. Few knew then that the Lazarus Group, a clandestine North Korean cyber unit, was orchestrating a sophisticated operation that would challenge the world's financial safety nets. The cyber attack's plan was as bold as it was intricate. The target was the central bank's account held with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. This account, like many others held by foreign banks, provided crucial access to international financial transactions. The attackers aimed to siphon nearly $1 billion using the SWIFT system, a global messaging network banks use to transfer money. They intended to transform digital keystrokes into a tidal wave of illicit funds. Preparation for the heist was meticulous. The Lazarus Group spent months infiltrating the bank's networks, planting malware, and carefully studying the bank's operations. By February 4th, they were ready. That day, a series of fraudulent requests were sent to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, amounting to $951 million. They leveraged the SWIFT system, exploiting its trust as the backbone of global finance. The SWIFT network was not just a tool, but a vulnerability. Used by over 11,000 institutions across 200 countries, it was a prime target for those seeking to exploit its interconnectedness. The attackers managed to craft requests that appeared legitimate, coming from a trusted source. They sent 35 transfer orders, directing funds to accounts in the Philippines and Sri Lanka. However, fate intervened. A typographical error in one of the transfer requests caught the attention of Deutsche Bank, a routing institution in the process. The order misspelled foundation as foundation, prompting a manual review. This intervention halted $850 million in transfers. Nonetheless, $101 million was already on its way. Most of this amount, $81 million, reached accounts in the Philippines, while $20 million bound for Sri Lanka was quickly identified and intercepted. As news of the heist broke, the world was stunned. How could such an audacious theft occur amidst fortified financial systems? Investigations began unraveling the sprawling web of deceit woven by the Lazarus Group. It became evident that this was not merely a theft but a strategic operation, executed with military precision. In the Philippines, the laundered money slipped through the seams of government oversight. Repeated bank transactions, clever layering techniques, and a complex network of money mules fragmented the trail. Casinos played a pivotal role, offering a venue where large sums could be exchanged with minimal scrutiny. Here, amidst the flashing lights and rolling dice, the money vanished into an economic shadow. The implications of the heist extended far beyond financial loss. It exposed vulnerabilities in the global financial architecture, particularly the reliance on trust and the assumption of good intent within the SWIFT network. For Bangladesh Bank, the incident was a blow to its credibility and a harsh lesson in cybersecurity. For the Lazarus Group, however, the heist was a resounding success in more ways than one. Despite the partial failure, the $81 million successfully extracted was a significant windfall. More importantly, the operation provided invaluable insights into the limitations and potential of international cyber theft. The group learned to refine techniques and strategies that would later be pivotal in their pivot to cryptocurrency theft. On the human side, the heist left a trail of distress and repercussions. In Bangladesh, officials scrambled to address the fallout, while citizens bore witness to a national embarrassment. In the Philippines, a Senate investigation unfolded, trying to untangle the complex web of money laundering, but with limited success. The Lazarus Group remained an elusive specter, casting a shadow over the efforts of law enforcement and financial institutions. The heist also highlighted the growing capabilities of North Korea's cyber forces. The Lazarus Group, rooted in Bureau 121, had emerged as a formidable entity. This unit, part of the Reconnaissance General Bureau, represented the North Korean regime's commitment to asymmetric warfare. Cyber operations offered a means to bypass sanctions and fund state operations, including its contentious weapons programs. As the dust settled, the lessons of the Bangladesh bank heist became clear. Cybersecurity protocols worldwide were scrutinized, with institutions scrambling to bolster defenses. The incident acted as a wake-up call to the potential threats lurking in the digital realm. But for the Lazarus Group, it was merely the beginning of a broader, bolder strategy. This strategy would soon shift focus, setting its sights on a new target: cryptocurrency. Digital currencies offered an alluring combination of anonymity, cross-border fluidity, and less regulatory oversight. For North Korea, the pivot to cryptocurrency represented not just an opportunity, but a necessity, as traditional avenues of financial exploitation tightened. The Bangladesh bank heist was a harbinger of things to come. It illustrated the Lazarus Group's capability to navigate and exploit the weaknesses of global financial systems. As they turned their gaze towards cryptocurrency, a new frontier of financial warfare was on the horizon. In our next chapter, we will explore this shift in detail. We'll delve into why cryptocurrency became the focus and how it fits into North Korea's broader strategic goals. The digital currency landscape would soon become the battleground for the Lazarus Group's most ambitious exploits yet, setting the stage for new challenges and global countermeasures. The digital currency landscape would soon become the battleground for the Lazarus Group's most ambitious exploits yet, setting the stage for new challenges and global countermeasures. As cryptocurrency surged in popularity, it offered unprecedented opportunities and vulnerabilities that North Korea was keen to exploit. The anonymous nature of these transactions and the lack of centralized oversight made this realm an ideal target for a state looking to bypass international sanctions. The Lazarus Group, looking beyond traditional banking thefts, began perfecting their craft in this new, digital playground. In the shadow of their previous operations, the group saw the potential of cryptocurrency not just as a financial asset, but as a strategic weapon. The advantages were clear. Transactions were pseudonymous, often irreversible, and could be conducted across borders without the same scrutiny as traditional banking systems. This was especially enticing for a nation under tight economic sanctions like North Korea. They had already demonstrated their capability with the Bangladesh bank heist in February 2016, successfully siphoning off $81 million. The Lazarus Group's shift to cryptocurrency theft began in earnest around 2017. This was a period marked by rapid growth in the value of digital currencies, with Bitcoin in particular seeing explosive price increases. The group's activities coincided with increasing interest from North Korea's leadership in online financial systems as a way to sustain the regime's economic needs. As global regulators struggled to keep pace with the evolving financial landscape, the Lazarus Group's efforts grew bolder. The tactics they employed became more sophisticated over time. The hackers often used spear phishing emails to infiltrate cryptocurrency exchanges, targeting employees with seemingly benign communications that, once opened, allowed them backdoor access. In other scenarios, they planted malware to surveil systems, taking note of vulnerabilities they could later exploit. These painstaking preparations underscore the meticulous nature of their operations. A notable incident occurred in January 2018, when the Lazarus Group orchestrated a cyber attack on CoinCheck, a Japanese cryptocurrency exchange. By exploiting weaknesses in the exchange's security protocols, they managed to abscond with $530 million in NEOM coins. This was, at the time, the largest cryptocurrency theft in history. The attack on CoinCheck was not just a financial blow, but a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in burgeoning digital economies. As the world grappled with the implications of these cyber heists, the Lazarus Group continued to refine their strategies. They began using a combination of social engineering and malware to compromise personal and corporate digital wallets. By targeting individual cryptocurrency holders and institutional custodians, they widened their net, capturing more digital assets. Each successful operation emboldened them further, adding significantly to their coffers. Despite the risks, the allure of cryptocurrency's potential rewards was too great for North Korea to ignore. The regime's need to fund state operations, particularly its weapons programs, was pressing. The stolen digital wealth was channeled into projects crucial to North Korea's strategic interests, including its controversial ballistic missile and nuclear development. The Lazarus Group's activities had transformed from mere cyber theft to a cornerstone of state-sponsored economic strategy. By 2019, the United Nations estimated that North Korea had generated up to $2 billion from cybercrime activities, much of it linked to cryptocurrency theft. This staggering sum spoke to the scale and effectiveness of their operations. It also underscored the international challenge of preventing and responding to such sophisticated cyber threats. The global community had no choice but to take notice and act. International efforts to counter the Lazarus Group's activities began to intensify. Countries around the world started tightening regulations on cryptocurrency exchanges and implementing more rigorous security standards. The United States, in particular, played a significant role in tracking and sanctioning individuals associated with the group. In September 2019, The U.S. Treasury Department sanctioned 3 North Korean hacking groups, including Lazarus, in an attempt to curb their illicit activities. Despite these efforts, the challenge remained daunting. The decentralized nature of cryptocurrency transactions made it difficult to trace funds or recover stolen assets. Hackers also used sophisticated laundering techniques, such as mixing services and shell companies, to obscure the trail of money. Additionally, the use of darknet markets further complicated efforts to track down and seize stolen digital currencies. The human element of these stories often gets overshadowed by the technical complexities. Behind each headline and statistic is a cadre of skilled hackers, highly trained, often young, and driven by a mix of duty, coercion, and ambition. These individuals, working under the watchful eyes of North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau, are on the front lines of a new type of warfare. For them, the stakes are high, and failure is not an option, as the regime's expectations are nothing short of success. In the coming years, the Lazarus Group would continue to innovate, staying one step ahead of cybersecurity experts. Each new technology or digital advancement presented new opportunities, but also new risks. As they adapted to these changes, the global community struggled to keep up, often reacting after the fact. The Lazarus Group had become not just a threat to financial systems, but a symbol of the complexities of digital security in a rapidly changing world. Their story is a testament to the evolving nature of cyber warfare and the thin line between digital innovation and exploitation. As North Korea continued to refine its strategies, it became increasingly clear that this was not just about financial gain, but about asserting power on a global stage. The world watched and responded, but the challenges were far from over. The Lazarus Group's exploits marked a turning point in cybersecurity, setting the stage for ongoing battles in the digital realm. The momentum now moves toward a deeper exploration of the mechanics of theft, the intricate methods that enable the Lazarus Group to penetrate and exploit the vulnerabilities within global financial systems. As we delve into their tactics, we uncover the meticulous planning and high-stakes operations that define their notorious success. It is here that the true scale of their impact becomes evident, prompting a global reckoning with the vulnerabilities of our interconnected world. It is here that the true scale of their impact becomes evident, prompting a global reckoning with the vulnerabilities of our interconnected world. The Lazarus Group, with its roots in the shadowy recesses of Bureau 121, reveals the uncomfortable reality that no digital fortress is impregnable. As countries and corporations grapple with this new paradigm, the methods and motives of these North Korean cyber warriors have become a subject of intense scrutiny and fear. Understanding the mechanics of their thefts requires a close examination of their tactics. Often starting with the innocuous click of a link in a seemingly mundane email, this initial access is just the beginning. In the case of the 2016 Bangladesh bank heist, phishing emails were crafted with meticulous attention to detail, posing as legitimate communications from trusted sources. This was the crack through which the Lazarus Group began their infiltration. The hackers deployed malicious software designed specifically to bypass security systems. This malware, once embedded, lay dormant, awaiting instructions. At a predetermined time, it awakened, quietly mapping the bank's systems and siphoning off crucial information, including access credentials for the SWIFT global payment network. Through this crack, the Lazarus Group orchestrated one of the largest bank heists in history. They attempted to transfer nearly $1 billion, a staggering figure by any measure. $81 million successfully vanished into accounts hastily set up in the Philippines. The rest were halted by a fortuitous spelling error that raised suspicions. Yet this partial success was a windfall for North Korea, a country perpetually teetering on the brink of financial collapse. As experts delved deeper into the mechanics of these thefts, they unearthed a network of shadowy operators, intermediaries, and financial loopholes. Each laundered dollar was a testament to the intricate web spun by the Lazarus Group. They utilized casinos in Manila, exploiting lax anti-money laundering (AML) regulations to wash the stolen funds clean. The aftermath of the Bangladesh bank heist was profound, not just in monetary terms but in the sobering lessons it imparted. It revealed the sheer audacity and sophistication of state-sponsored cybercrime. The digital realm, once considered a safe haven for innovation and progress, had become a hunting ground for those who could manipulate its vulnerabilities. The Lazarus Group's pivot to cryptocurrency further underscored their tactical evolution. Cryptocurrencies, with their pseudonymous nature and irreversible transactions, presented an irresistible lure. From 2017 onwards, they orchestrated a series of high-profile crypto heists, amassing billions in digital currencies. Each theft was a carefully choreographed operation involving multiple stages and actors. By exploiting security lapses in cryptocurrency exchanges, they drained wallets, transferring assets through a maze of decentralized networks. This method of laundering was both brilliant and brazen, leveraging the very features that made cryptocurrencies revolutionary. The Lazarus Group's operations offered a glimpse into a future where state conflicts might take place not on battlefields but within lines of code. The financial impact was colossal, but the geopolitical ramifications were even more significant. With an estimated $3 to $4 billion stolen by the Lazarus Group, North Korea was able to circumvent international sanctions. These funds provided a crucial lifeline, bolstering the regime's coffers and funding its weapons programs, including ballistic missiles and nuclear developments. International investigators, including those from the United Nations, scrambled to trace these digital fingerprints back to their source. Cybersecurity firms worked tirelessly, dissecting code and tracking transactions across the blockchain. Despite their efforts, the anonymity afforded by cryptocurrencies often left them one step behind, highlighting the need for a new approach to cyber defense. The emotional toll on those caught in the crossfire of these cyber operations is profound. Bank employees, unwittingly entangled in a global web of espionage, found themselves questioning every email, every system login. Cryptocurrency investors, who once believed in the utopian promise of decentralized finance, faced the harsh reality of its exploitation by nefarious actors. In the heart of Pyongyang, these cyber warriors are lauded as heroes. Their successes are not just celebrated, but are integral to the narrative of survival against overwhelming odds. For the Lazarus Group, each successful operation is both a victory and a validation of their skills. As we move forward, the question remains, how does the world respond to this new kind of warfare? With technology evolving at an unprecedented pace, the rules of engagement are continually shifting. The Lazarus Group's activities have forced a global re-examination of cybersecurity protocols, prompting governments and corporations to bolster their defenses. Yet, despite these efforts, the threat persists, evolving with each new defensive measure. The Lazarus Group remains elusive, a specter haunting the corridors of power and finance across the globe. As international coalitions form to counter these threats, the challenge is not just technological, but philosophical. In a world where digital transactions are the lifeblood of commerce, trust becomes both a commodity and a vulnerability. The Lazarus Group has exploited this dichotomy with unerring precision. Their activities underscore the need for a paradigm shift in how we view digital security, not as a series of isolated incidents, but as a fundamental aspect of national and global security. As we delve deeper into this story, one thing becomes clear. The Lazarus Group is but a symptom of a larger systemic issue. The interconnected nature of our world means that a vulnerability in one corner can have ripple effects far beyond its origin. This is the new reality we must face. In the next chapter, we will explore how the proceeds from these cybercrimes are funneled into North Korea's state operations, funding not just survival, but the regime's ambitions on the world stage. As we uncover these connections, we gain a deeper understanding of the stakes involved and the multifaceted nature of this global cyber conflict. And so, the story continues. And so, the story continues. As we delve deeper into the intricacies of North Korea's clandestine operations, it becomes clear that the Lazarus Group is not just a collection of hackers, but a pivotal arm of the state itself. Their activities are not merely about financial gain. They are about survival, power, and the pursuit of a global strategy dictated from Pyongyang. In the shadowy corridors of Bureau 121, North Korea's elite cyber warfare unit, there is a clear mandate: secure the means to sustain a nation besieged by sanctions. This unit, operating under the Reconnaissance General Bureau, is the engine behind North Korea's cyber operations. Hundreds of skilled operatives work tirelessly, often operating under the cover of normalcy in foreign lands. Individuals like Park Jin-hyuk, who was publicly charged by the U.S. Department of Justice in 2018, are emblematic of the highly skilled personnel driving these operations. The Lazarus Group's successful thefts have funneled billions into the coffers of this isolated nation. Between 2017 and 2023, estimates suggest that $3 to $4 billion in cryptocurrency have been stolen. These funds are not idle. They are the lifeblood of North Korea's ambitions, including its controversial weapons programs. The connection between cyber theft and state funding is unambiguous. In 2017, the world watched as North Korea conducted a series of missile tests, each more provocative than the last. Financial experts and international watchdogs have traced the funding for such activities back to cyber thefts orchestrated by the Lazarus Group. Cryptocurrency, with its pseudonymous transactions and lack of regulatory oversight, offers an almost perfect vehicle for North Korea's financial machinations. The year 2016 was a turning point. Having successfully executed the Bangladesh bank heist, North Korea's hackers gained confidence and a taste for the possibilities that lay within the digital realm. The $81 million they managed to siphon off were but the beginning of a new age of cyber warfare. The audacity of attempting to steal nearly $1 billion showcased their ambition and the potential of digital currencies to fund state operations without the prying eyes of traditional banking systems. Casinos have become their unlikely ally. The Lazarus Group's operatives expertly navigate the less scrutinized waters of casinos and gambling establishments to launder their digital loot. These venues, often outside the reach of stringent anti-money laundering (AML) regulations, provide a convenient means to convert cryptocurrency into usable assets. The chaotic nature of such environments, a dizzying mix of cash, chips, and digital currency, creates the perfect storm for laundering operations. The link between stolen funds and North Korea's nuclear ambitions was underscored in 2019. During this year, United Nations reports highlighted how proceeds from cyber thefts were directly channeled into the country's nuclear and missile programs. Satellite images showed increased activity at missile sites, correlating with spikes in Lazarus Group thefts. This convergence of digital and real-world threats posed a significant challenge to international peace and security. International response has been varied but relentless. The United Nations has imposed numerous sanctions targeting individuals and entities associated with North Korea's cyber activities. Countries like the United States have taken additional measures, including indictments and sanctions against key figures believed to be involved in these operations. Yet, the elusive nature of cybercrime and the protected status of these hackers within North Korea make enforcement difficult. Independent cybersecurity firms and researchers have also played a crucial role in tracking the activities of the Lazarus Group. Firms such as Kaspersky Lab and Symantec have published detailed reports, shedding light on the methodologies and tools used by the group. Their work has been instrumental in understanding the scale and scope of North Korea's cyber operations. However, the dynamic nature of these cyber threats means that the tactics and techniques used by the Lazarus Group are constantly evolving. Despite international efforts, North Korea remains defiant. Kim Jong-un, the nation's leader, has made it clear that he views nuclear capabilities as essential to the country's sovereignty. The funds secured through cyber operations are a critical component of this strategy. While the international community grapples with the implications of these actions, North Korea pushes forward, undeterred by condemnation or sanctions. The human stories behind these operations are complex. Many cyber warriors in North Korea are young men and women, highly educated and recruited for their technical skills. For them, this work is not just a job, it's a duty to their country, a way to ensure survival in a world poised against them. Life in Pyongyang is austere, with resources scarce and the threat of external aggression ever present. For these operatives, success in their missions means the continuation of their way of life, their regime, and perhaps their very survival. As we turn our gaze forward, the challenge lies in finding methods to counteract these cyber threats effectively. The global financial system must adapt to the realities of a world where nations can conduct warfare not only with missiles but with keyboards and code. Enhanced cybersecurity measures, more stringent regulations on cryptocurrency exchanges, and greater international cooperation are the required steps to mitigate these risks. North Korea's foray into the world of cryptocurrency theft is a testament to its adaptability and ingenuity. While the motives behind these actions are clear, the impact ripples far beyond the Korean peninsula, affecting individuals, corporations, and governments worldwide. As we move toward the next chapter, the question remains: what will be the global community's response to this evolving threat? How will nations safeguard their digital borders against such formidable adversaries? And so, the stage is set for a deeper exploration. The world must reckon with the implications of a state that hacks, and what this means for the future of international security and diplomacy. The world must reckon with the implications of a state that hacks, and what this means for the future of international security and diplomacy. As North Korea's Lazarus Group continues its silent operations, the global community faces a pressing challenge, adapting to threats that transcend traditional warfare. This new age of cyber conflict leaves no borders and respects no treaties, posing risks not only to financial institutions, but also to the very fabric of international relations. To understand the depth of these implications, one must look back to November 2014, when North Korea first drew global attention with the Sony Pictures hack. The attack was a pivotal moment, showing how cyber warfare could disrupt societies without a single shot fired. It was a wake-up call for nations, demonstrating the destructive potential of digital threats. But the world has evolved since then, and so has North Korea's cyber unit, Bureau 121. With approximately 26 million people living under an isolated regime, North Korea has long relied on unconventional methods to sustain its economy and military ambitions. The Lazarus Group, a key part of Bureau 121, has become a formidable force in this strategy, specializing in cyber theft to fund state operations. By 2017, the group had already managed to steal between $3 to $4 billion in cryptocurrency, a staggering figure that underscores the effectiveness of their activities. The Bangladesh bank heist in February 2016 stands as a testament to the group's skill and audacity. Targeting the SWIFT system, hackers attempted to siphon off nearly $1 billion. Although only $81 million were successfully stolen, the heist exposed vulnerabilities in global financial networks. It also marked a strategic pivot for the Lazarus Group, from disrupting systems to financial gain, thus funding state programs, including the development of ballistic missiles. Cryptocurrency has proven particularly attractive to North Korea due to its pseudonymous and irreversible nature. In a world where financial transactions are closely monitored, cryptocurrency offers a layer of obscurity invaluable to regimes operating on the fringes of legality. The Lazarus Group exploits this by penetrating exchanges, stealing vast amounts, and then laundering the proceeds through networks that include casinos, known for their lax anti-money laundering scrutiny. International efforts to counter these activities have been significant, yet they face an uphill battle. The United Nations, independent researchers, and global financial regulators have all mobilized to track and mitigate the Lazarus Group's impact. These efforts are critical, as the broader implications of North Korea's operations threaten global financial security. The stakes are high, and the challenges are complex. Cybersecurity has now become a paramount concern for financial institutions worldwide. The possibility of a state using cyber warfare to bypass traditional sanctions and fund illicit activities casts a long shadow over international diplomacy. This reality demands a coordinated and robust response, one that can adapt to the rapidly changing landscape of digital threats. While North Korea's strategies are innovative, they are not without risks. The country's reliance on cyber theft exposes it to international condemnation and potential retaliation. However, for a regime accustomed to isolation and sanctions, the benefits appear to outweigh the risks. This calculus is crucial in understanding the enduring appeal of cyber operations for states seeking to circumvent economic pressures. The human stories behind these operations add a poignant layer to the geopolitical narrative. Consider the cybersecurity experts in South Korea, working tirelessly to track and counter their northern neighbors' cyber activities. These individuals face immense pressure and personal risk, driven by a commitment to protect their nation's sovereignty and security. Their efforts highlight the deeply human aspect of cyber conflict, an invisible battlefield that affects real lives. As we look to the future, the potential threats posed by state-sponsored cyber operations loom large. With technology advancing at an unprecedented pace, the methods employed by groups like Lazarus will undoubtedly evolve. The international community must stay vigilant, continuously enhancing cybersecurity measures to keep pace with these developments. North Korea's actions serve as a case study for other nations that might consider similar tactics. They reveal the potential for cyber operations to achieve strategic objectives without direct confrontation. This realization could lead to an escalation of cyber warfare, further complicating international relations and security. In this complex landscape, diplomacy becomes both more critical and more challenging. Nations must navigate the delicate balance between protecting their interests and avoiding escalation. International agreements on cyber conduct, akin to those covering nuclear weapons, could provide a framework for reducing tensions, but such agreements require trust, a scarce commodity in the realm of cyber espionage. As we conclude this chapter, the question remains, how will the world adapt to the menace of a state that hacks? The implications are profound, affecting not only security and diplomacy, but also the way nations perceive power and influence. The next chapter will delve deeper into potential strategies for countering this threat, exploring innovative solutions that could redefine how we approach cybersecurity on a global scale. In the ever-evolving narrative of international security, North Korea's billion-dollar crypto war is but one chapter. Yet it provides critical insights into the broader story, a tale of adaptation, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of advantage in an interconnected world. As the journey continues, we must remain vigilant, learning from the past to prepare for an uncertain future. This is not merely a story of theft and deception. It is a narrative of survival and ingenuity. In the face of adversity, the human spirit, whether for good or ill, finds ways to endure. And as we turn the page, we must ask ourselves, how will we choose to respond? The investigation into North Korea's cyber operations began in earnest as global awareness of their scale and impact grew. In the shadowy world of cybercrime, the Lazarus Group's audacious actions stood out, prompting an international response. By 2017, cybersecurity firms and government agencies alike were pooling resources, striving to unravel the complex web woven by these enigmatic hackers. This was not just a digital chase. It was a race to safeguard the global financial infrastructure. The United Nations Security Council took significant steps, incorporating cyber threats into its broader sanctions against North Korea. In March 2017, they passed Resolution 2345, explicitly targeting entities contributing to North Korea's cyber capabilities. This resolution marked a pivotal moment, recognizing cyber threats as part of the regime's broader arsenal. Yet, the challenge remained formidable, as the Lazarus Group operated beyond traditional boundaries. Key players in this investigation included the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Both agencies allocated substantial resources, forming specialized units to track and counter the Lazarus Group's activities. Coordinating with partners in South Korea, Japan, and Europe, they aimed to breach the hackers' veil of anonymity. This collaboration was unprecedented, as it involved not only intelligence sharing but also joint operations against suspected cyber hubs. A significant break came in late 2018, when blockchain analytics firms like Chainalysis began mapping the flow of stolen cryptocurrencies. This task was daunting, given the decentralized and pseudonymous nature of blockchain transactions. Yet, by tracing patterns and identifying suspect wallets, they uncovered a laundering network that spanned continents. These findings were pivotal. They linked digital heists to physical locations where funds were being cashed out. In February 2019, a collaborative effort led to the identification of several Lazarus-affiliated individuals. Among them was Park Jin-hyuk, a North Korean programmer indicted by the United States for his role in high-profile cyber attacks. Park's indictment was more than a legal maneuver. It was a statement of intent to hold accountable those responsible for cyber aggression. His case highlighted the personal stories behind the faceless operations, revealing a life lived under a regime that prioritized state loyalty above all else. Yet the Lazarus Group's tactics evolved. They began using more sophisticated methods to disguise their trails, employing mixers and tumbler services to obscure transaction origins. These services, while legal in some jurisdictions, became tools for laundering as they blended illicit funds with clean assets. Detecting such operations required a blend of traditional detective work and cutting-edge technology. It was a cat-and-mouse game, with each side adapting rapidly to the other's moves. Global financial regulators, including the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, intensified efforts to mitigate these risks. In June 2019, the FATF issued new guidelines for cryptocurrency exchanges, requiring them to implement stringent anti-money laundering (AML) measures. These rules were designed to close loopholes that the Lazarus Group and others exploited. Yet enforcing them proved challenging, as compliance varied widely across regions. Independent researchers also played a crucial role. Individuals like Vitaly Kamluk, a cybersecurity expert known for his work on the WannaCry ransomware attack, contributed valuable insights. Kamluk's analysis provided a clearer picture of the Lazarus Group's methods, linking them to other state-sponsored cyber units. His work underscored the necessity of a multidisciplinary approach, blending technical expertise with geopolitical awareness. On the ground in Asia, investigative journalists like Kim Dong-ho in South Korea pursued leads, uncovering connections between the cyber thieves and traditional smuggling networks. These networks were often used to move physical goods that complemented the digital transactions. Kim's stories revealed a hybrid approach, where the digital and physical worlds intersected seamlessly to support North Korean operations. His reporting shed light on the broader impact of these crimes affecting ordinary citizens far from the virtual battlefield. Despite these efforts, the Lazarus Group remained adept at finding new vulnerabilities. By 2020, they had expanded their targets, focusing not only on exchanges but also on decentralized finance platforms. These platforms, known as DeFi, represented the cutting edge of cryptocurrency innovation. Yet, their relative lack of regulation made them enticing targets for well-organized cybercriminals. This shift underscored the Lazarus Group's adaptability, always staying one step ahead of countermeasures. The emotional toll of this investigation was significant. Cybersecurity professionals and law enforcement agents described the frustration of watching stolen funds vanish into digital ether, knowing they funded one of the world's most secretive regimes. For them, this was not just about stopping theft. It was about preventing the misuse of those resources, from further sanctions evasion to weapons development. The stakes were high, with real-world consequences that extended far beyond the digital sphere. By 2021, the estimated total stolen by the Lazarus Group reached between $3 to $4 billion. This staggering sum reflected the group's success, but also the broader vulnerabilities in the global financial system. The investigation had made strides, yet the path forward required continued vigilance and innovation. In response, the cybersecurity community began advocating for more robust international frameworks. They called for treaties that would not only address cybercrime, but also promote cooperation across borders. This was an ambitious vision, one that recognized the interconnectedness of modern economies and the threats they faced. For those involved in the investigation, the work was both a burden and a calling. It required persistence, creativity, and a deep commitment to justice. As they looked to the future, one question loomed large: how to stay ahead in a landscape where the rules were constantly changing. The global effort to combat North Korea's cyber activities was far from over. As new threats emerged, so too did the resolve of those dedicated to countering them. This investigation was a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit in the face of formidable challenges. As the world stood on the brink of a new era in cyber warfare, the lessons learned here would shape responses for years to come. With the groundwork laid, the focus now shifted toward understanding the broader implications for global financial security. This investigation was just one chapter in a much larger story, one that posed a critical question: how would the world adapt to the evolving landscape of cyber threats? As new technologies emerged, so too would new vulnerabilities, and new opportunities willing to exploit them. The path ahead was uncertain, and the stakes were higher than ever. But the investigation had illuminated a path forward, highlighting the need for collaboration, innovation, and unwavering resolve. And as the curtain fell on this chapter, the stage was set for the next, a deeper exploration of the future implications of these cyber operations on global financial security. The legacy of North Korea's Lazarus Group is a chilling testament to the evolving landscape of global cyber threats. From its origins within Bureau 121 to its notorious endeavors in cryptocurrency theft, the Lazarus Group has left an indelible mark on the world stage. Their actions have reshaped the way nations perceive cybersecurity, prompting a reevaluation of the vulnerabilities within our increasingly digital financial systems. The impact of the Lazarus Group extends beyond the mere act of theft. It challenges the very foundations of trust and security upon which modern economies depend. For North Korea, a nation isolated and heavily sanctioned, the success of such operations is not just about financial gain. It represents a strategic maneuver to circumvent economic restrictions and fund state imperatives. North Korea's population, approximately 26 million strong, lives within a tightly controlled regime. The Lazarus Group's exploits indirectly affect their daily lives, although the immediate benefits are primarily felt by the state's military and political elite. The billions stolen through cyber heists contribute to programs that bolster the regime's grip on power, including its controversial weapons development initiatives. The connection between these cyber operations and North Korea's weapons programs is both direct and deeply concerning. The stolen funds are funneled into projects that enhance the nation's ballistic missile capabilities, as evidenced by satellite imagery and intelligence reports. For instance, in August 2017, shortly after a series of high-profile crypto thefts, North Korea conducted a missile test over Japan, signaling its growing confidence and capability. This nexus between cybercrime and military advancement raises pressing questions for global security. How can nations protect themselves against an adversary that operates beyond traditional boundaries and legal constraints? The challenge is compounded by the pseudonymous nature of cryptocurrency, which allows North Korea to mask its tracks more effectively than with conventional financial transactions. International efforts to combat the Lazarus Group have been robust yet challenging. The United Nations has imposed multiple sanctions aiming to restrict North Korea's access to international markets and resources. However, the regime's adeptness at using cyber capabilities to circumvent these restrictions reflects a sophisticated understanding of modern technology and its potential for exploitation. Independent cybersecurity researchers have played a crucial role in unveiling the methods and operations of the Lazarus Group. Companies like Kaspersky Lab and Symantec have tracked their digital footprints, providing insights into the group's modus operandi. This collaborative effort is crucial because it underscores the global nature of the threat and the necessity for international cooperation to address it. Yet the question remains, what legacy will this ongoing cyber conflict leave for future generations? The answer lies partly in the lessons learned and the measures implemented to strengthen cybersecurity defenses worldwide. Financial institutions, once complacent in their perceived security, are now investing heavily in advanced technologies and strategies to protect against similar threats. The legacy also encompasses the broader geopolitical implications of North Korea's cyber warfare. By demonstrating its cyber prowess, North Korea has not only secured much-needed resources, but has also forced itself onto the global stage as a formidable, albeit rogue, actor in the digital realm. This demands a rethinking of diplomatic strategies that address not just nuclear disarmament, but also cyber disarmament. Human stories interwoven with these events illustrate the profound emotional and societal impacts of the Lazarus Group's activities. For instance, in the aftermath of the Bangladesh bank heist, employees faced intense scrutiny and pressure. Careers were irrevocably altered, and the psychological toll on individuals was significant. These narratives remind us that behind every cyber operation lie human consequences. On a broader scale, the legacy of such cyber threats compels us to question our reliance on digital systems. Is the convenience of digital currencies worth the vulnerabilities they expose? This dilemma is not merely theoretical. It reflects a tangible risk that nations, corporations, and individuals must continually assess. The evolving nature of cyber threats, as exemplified by the Lazarus Group, underscores a critical need for adaptation. Nations and institutions must be agile, constantly updating their defenses to counteract a dynamic and unpredictable adversary. This requires not only technological innovation, but also an investment in education and awareness to build a workforce skilled in cyber defense. As we navigate these complexities, the story of the Lazarus Group serves as a cautionary tale. It highlights the need for vigilance, cooperation, and a proactive stance in safeguarding our digital future. The legacy they leave is one that warns of the potential misuse of technology while simultaneously inspiring advancements in the field of cybersecurity. In the end, the Lazarus Group has inadvertently driven progress in cybersecurity, forcing a reevaluation of what it means to be secure in the digital age. Their legacy is twofold: as a catalyst for innovation in defense, and as a persistent reminder of the ever-present risk posed by cyber adversaries. As we close this chapter, we are reminded that the story is far from over. The Lazarus Group's actions have set the stage for future conflicts, where the battle lines are drawn not on land or sea, but across invisible networks. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into the countermeasures being developed to combat these cyber threats, exploring how nations are preparing for a future where cybersecurity is paramount. In the shadowy world of cybercrime, North Korea's Lazarus Group has carved out a realm of its own, weaving a complex tapestry of technology, trust, and trepidation. Its story is a testament to the dual-edged nature of innovation, how tools meant for progress can also serve as instruments of subversion. Cryptocurrency, once hailed as the harbinger of financial freedom, has inadvertently become a lifeline for a regime isolated by international sanctions. The technology promised a decentralization of power, yet it was this very decentralization that allowed a state to exploit vulnerabilities without fear of recourse. The anonymity and irreversibility that empowered users have also shielded wrongdoers. At the heart of this narrative is a profound exploration of human nature. Trust, once a cornerstone of transactions, now finds itself challenged in a digital realm where the unseen can manipulate the visible. The story of the Lazarus Group is not just one of theft, but of adaptation and survival. It's about a nation's ability to transform its greatest weaknesses into formidable strengths, leveraging technology to fund ambitions far beyond its means. The victims, often faceless in this global story, remind us of the fragile nature of security in our interconnected world. They are individuals, families, and small communities who woke up to find their digital assets vanished, collateral damage in a cyber war they never volunteered for. As investigations intensify and countermeasures evolve, the chase between protectors and violators continues. It is a perpetual race against time and technology. Yet, amid the intricate dance of codes and cryptography, a somber reflection emerges. It speaks of resilience and the undeniable human drive to secure a future, even when that future is built upon the vulnerabilities of others. In contemplating this story, we are reminded of the delicate balance between progress and peril. The Lazarus Group's activities cast a long shadow, but they also illuminate the path ahead, one where vigilance must accompany innovation. As we close this chapter, let us hold on to the quiet realization that while technology may change, the essence of trust and the spirit of humanity remain timeless. Now, as the night deepens, let these thoughts settle like the gentle waves of a distant sea. Allow yourself to drift into a realm of rest, where the noise of the world fades into a tranquil whisper. The future, like a dawn, awaits the dreams crafted in the quiet sanctuary of sleep. Good night.